The mysterious encounter. Dr. Sarah Chen was alone on the Deep Space Research Station. She had been working there for 6 months now. The station was far from Earth, floating in the darkness between the stars. Sarah was a scientist who studied alien technology, but in all her time here, she had never found anything truly exciting. Until today. Sarah was checking the station's sensors when something strange appeared on her screen. A small object was moving toward the station. It was not a meteor or space rock. This thing was different. It glowed with a soft blue light. "What is that?" Sarah asked herself. She had never seen anything like it before. The object came closer and closer. Sarah watched as it stopped right outside the station. It was about the size of a car, but it looked like it was made of crystal. Beautiful patterns moved across its surface like living art. Sarah put on her spacesuit and went outside to get the object. It was not heavy, but it felt warm in her hands. She brought it inside the station and put it on her work table. For hours, Sarah studied the strange object. She used every tool she had, but nothing happened. The object just sat there, glowing softly. Sarah was starting to think it was just a pretty space rock. Then something amazing happened. The object suddenly became brighter. The blue light filled the whole room. Sarah stepped back, afraid. The light formed into a shape above the object. It looked like a person, but made of light. The shape became clearer and clearer. Soon Sarah could see it was a woman, but this was not a human woman. She was tall and beautiful, with skin that seemed to shine like stars. Her eyes were large and silver. Her hair moved like it was floating in water. Sarah's mouth fell open. She could not believe what she was seeing. The alien woman looked at Sarah with great interest. When she spoke, her voice was like metal music, but also strong and commanding. "Present your morphing serpent that expands twofold, prideful mortal," the alien woman said. Her silver eyes sparkled with wonder and curiosity. Sarah was so shocked she could not speak for a moment. Finally, she found her voice. I don't understand," Sarah said. "What serpent? I don't have any serpent." The alien woman smiled, but it was not a kind smile. It was the smile of someone who knew a secret. "All of your kind possess this serpent," the woman said. "It lives inside you. It grows and changes. It holds the power that we have searched for across the galaxy." Sarah felt scared and confused. "I really don't know what you're talking about. Who are you? Where do you come from?" The alien woman walked around the room, her feet not touching the ground. Everything about her was elegant and mysterious. "I am Zara of the Celestial Council," she said. "I have been watching your species for many years. You humans are very interesting creatures." "Watching us?" Sarah asked. "For how long?" "Since your kind first looked up at the stars and wondered if they were alone," Zara replied. "We have been waiting for the right moment to make contact." Sarah's heart was beating fast. This was the most important moment in human history. First contact with aliens, and it was happening to her. "Why now?" Sarah asked. "Why did you choose to contact me?" Zara's expression became serious. "Because my people are dying, Sarah Chen. We need what humans have. We need your morphing serpent." "But I still don't understand what you mean by—" Zara raised her hand to stop Sarah from talking. "You will understand soon enough. Your serpent is unique in all the galaxy. No other species has what you possess." Sarah felt a chill go down her spine. "Are you going to hurt me? Hurt humanity?" For the first time, Zara looked sad. "That depends on you, Sarah Chen. Hat depends on what choice you make." The hidden truth. Sarah's hands were shaking. The alien woman Zara was still floating in front of her, waiting for an answer. But Sarah had no idea what this morphing serpent was. "I need to understand," Sarah said, trying to sound brave. "Show me what you mean." Zara's silver eyes grew brighter. She waved her hand in the air, and suddenly the room filled with holographic images. Sarah gasped. She was looking at different alien species from across the galaxy. The first image showed tall, blue-skinned beings with 4 arms. The second showed creatures that looked like walking crystals. Then came beings made of pure energy, and others that seemed like living metal. These are my people's allies, Zara explained. We have traveled the galaxy for thousands of years. We have met hundreds of different species. Sarah watched in amazement. Each alien race was more incredible than the last, but then she noticed something strange. They all look so different, Sarah said, but they also look sad, sick. Zara nodded slowly. Very observant, Sarah Chen. Yes, they are all dying, just like my people. The images changed. Now Sarah could see the same alien races, but they looked weak and tired. Their colors were fading. Some were lying in what looked like hospital beds. What's happening to them? Sarah asked, feeling scared. We are all missing something, Zara said. Her voice was filled with sadness. Something that only exists on your planet Earth. Zara waved her hand again. This time the hologram showed a human cell. Sarah recognized it from her biology classes, but as she watched, the cell began to change and grow. This is what makes humans special, Zara said. Your cells contain something we call the morphing serpent. You know it by a different name. Sarah looked closer at the hologram. The cell was splitting and copying itself, and inside each cell she could see long, twisted shapes that looked like DNA, Sarah shouted. You're talking about human DNA. Zara smiled, but it was a sad smile. Your double helix structure. It twists and grows like a serpent. It expands and copies itself perfectly. This is what we need. Sarah's mind was racing. But every living thing has DNA. Why is human DNA special? Look again, Zara said. The hologram showed DNA from different species. Alien DNA was simple and straight. It could not change or adapt. But human DNA was different. It twisted and danced. It could repair itself. It could evolve and grow stronger. Your DNA can do something ours cannot, Zara explained. It can survive anything. Radiation, disease, time itself. It always finds a way to survive and become better. Sarah felt a chill. What exactly do you want from us? Zara's expression became very serious. My people's DNA is dying. We cannot reproduce anymore. Our children are born weak and sick. In 50 years, my entire species will be extinct. That's terrible, Sarah said. But how can we help? We need to combine our DNA with yours, Zara said. Your morphing serpent can save us. It can make us strong again. Sarah thought this sounded reasonable. Okay, so we can work together. We can share our DNA and help each other. But Zara shook her head. It is not that simple. To get what we need, we would have to control your species completely. Sarah's blood turned cold. Control us? What do you mean? We would need to harvest your DNA continuously. Every human would become, let us say, a resource. You would live, but you would not be free. The room became very quiet. Sarah could not believe what she was hearing. The aliens wanted to turn humans into slaves. No, Sarah said firmly, we would never agree to that. Zara looked surprised. Even if it means saving an entire civilization? My people have advanced technologies. We could give you amazing gifts in return. Not at the cost of our freedom, Sarah said. There has to be another way. Zara studied Sarah for a long moment. You humans are truly strange. Most species would choose safety over freedom, but you choose freedom over everything. That's what makes us human, Sarah replied. Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the space station. Sarah ran to her computer. Her face went pale as she read the screen. What is wrong? Zara asked. Sarah looked at her with fear in her eyes. There are ships approaching. Hundreds of them. They're surrounding Earth. Zara's expression became cold and distant. My people are losing patience, Sarah Chen. I came here to negotiate, but they have sent the fleet. A fleet. Sarah's voice was barely a whisper. You have 24 hours to decide, Zara said. Give us your morphing serpent willingly, or we will take it by force. Sarah felt like the walls were closing in around her. The fate of all humanity now rested on her shoulders. How could she possibly choose between human freedom and the survival of an entire alien race. And somewhere deep in space, alien warships were moving toward Earth, waiting for her answer, the impossible choice. Sarah's hands trembled as she stared at the communication screen. Earth's leaders were waiting for her report. Behind her, Zara watched silently, her silver eyes reflecting the light of distant stars. 24 hours, Sarah whispered to herself. How can I decide the fate of 2 entire species in 24 hours? Sarah pressed the emergency contact button. Within minutes, her screen filled with faces. The president of Earth Council, the head of global defense, and the world's top scientists all stared at her with worried expressions. Dr. Chen, the president said urgently, our satellites detected massive ships approaching Earth. What's happening up there? Sarah took a deep breath. Mr. President, I need to tell you something that will change everything. We are not alone in the universe, and we're in terrible danger. For the next hour, Sarah explained everything: the dying alien races, the special power of human DNA, the impossible demand, the alien fleet surrounding Earth. When she finished, the room was silent for a long moment. Let me understand this, the president said slowly. These aliens want to turn all humans into DNA farms? Yes, sir, Sarah replied. But there's more you need to know. Zara stepped forward into view of the camera. The Earth leaders gasped when they saw her beautiful, otherworldly appearance. Greetings, leaders of humanity, Zara said. I am sorry we must meet under these circumstances. You're the alien? The defense chief asked, reaching for his weapon controls. I am, Zara said calmly, and I want you to see something before you make your choice. Zara waved her hand, and new holograms filled the space station. This time the images showed alien homeworlds. Sarah gasped at what she saw. Entire planets were dying. Cities lay empty. Hospitals overflowed with sick and dying aliens. Children who would never grow up. Families saying goodbye forever. This is my homeworld, Zara said, pointing to a beautiful planet covered in crystal cities. 5 billion souls live there. In 50 years it will be empty, silent forever. The Earth leaders watched in horror as the images showed planet after planet facing the same fate. Across the galaxy, Zara continued, over 2 trillion beings will die unless we find a solution. Your DNA is the only thing that can save them. Sarah felt tears in her eyes. The scale of death was unimaginable, but the president stood firm. We're sorry for your suffering, but we cannot sacrifice human freedom. There must be another way. Zara's expression hardened. We have searched for another way for 1,000 years. There is none. Suddenly, new alarms began blaring. Sarah checked her instruments and her face went white. The alien ships, she said. They're powering up their weapons. Zara was quiet for a long moment. I have a daughter, she said finally. She is only 50 years old, still a child by our standards. The sickness has already begun in her. She will not live to see her 100th birthday. Sarah felt her heart break. I'm so sorry. If we do nothing, I will watch my own child die slowly, Zara continued. But if we enslave your species, I will never be able to look at her again without feeling shame. Suddenly, Sarah had an idea, a crazy, impossible idea. Zara, she said urgently, what if there was a third option? Zara looked at her with surprise. What do you mean? What if we could save both species without enslaving anyone? Before Zara could answer, the space station shook violently. Through the window they could see massive alien warships dropping out of hyperspace. These ships were different from Zara's vessel. They were dark and threatening, bristling with weapons. Zara's face filled with terror. No, she whispered. They're not supposed to be here yet. Who? Sarah asked, though she was afraid to hear the answer. The Harvester Fleet, Zara said. They don't want to negotiate anymore. They've come to take your DNA by force. The largest ship began scanning the space station. A cold, mechanical voice echoed through the station's communication system. Surrender the human specimen. Resistance is futile. The harvesting will begin immediately. Sarah looked at Zara, then at the approaching ships. Humanity's time had run out, but maybe, just maybe, her crazy idea could still save everyone. "Zara," Sarah said urgently, "do you trust me?" Zara stared at her for a moment, then nodded. "Yes, I trust you, Sarah Chen. Then help me save both our species." Outside, the harvester ships moved closer to Earth, ready to begin the greatest tragedy in galactic history. But inside the space station, two beings from different worlds were about to attempt the impossible. The fate of trillions hung in the balance. The clever solution. The harvester ships were only minutes away from Earth. Sarah could see their dark hulls through the space station window, like giant metal sharks moving through the stars. The mechanical voice echoed again through the station. "Final warning, surrender the human specimen or face total planetary destruction." Zara's hands were glowing with nervous energy. "Sarah, we must hurry. The harvesters have no mercy. They will kill every human on Earth if they have to." But Sarah was thinking fast. Her crazy idea was becoming clearer. "Zara, you said your people have been watching us for years, right?" "Yes, but then you know what humans are really good at," Sarah said, moving to her computer. "We don't just survive, we innovate. We find solutions that nobody else can see." Sarah's fingers flew over the keyboard. She was pulling up every piece of data she had about human DNA. Charts, graphs, and genetic codes filled her screens. "What are you doing?" Zara asked, moving closer. "I'm going to show you something incredible," Sarah said. "Something your people missed." On the screen, Sarah displayed human DNA next to alien DNA. "You're right that our DNA is special, but you're wrong about why." Zara stared at the genetic patterns. "I don't understand." "Look closer," Sarah said, enhancing the image. "Human DNA doesn't just adapt and survive. It teaches, it learns. It can actually improve other DNA it comes into contact with." Zara's silver eyes grew wide. "That's impossible." "No, it's not," Sarah said excitedly. "Humans have been doing this for centuries. We call it gene therapy. We take healthy DNA and use it to fix broken DNA. We don't replace the original, we repair it." Suddenly, Zara understood. "You're saying we don't need to harvest human DNA. We need to learn from it." "Oi!" Sarah shouted. "We can teach your DNA how to be like ours. We can save your species without enslaving mine." But their celebration was cut short. The space station shook violently as the harvester ships came alongside. Through the window, they could see robotic soldiers preparing to board. "It's too late," Zara said sadly. "The harvesters won't listen to new ideas." "Then we make them listen," Sarah said with determination. Sarah opened a communication channel to the lead harvester ship. The screen filled with the image of a terrifying mechanical being. It had red glowing eyes and a voice like grinding metal. "I am Harvester Prime," it said. "Prepare for extraction." "Wait," Sarah shouted. "I have a better offer." "There are no offers, only compliance. What if I told you that you could save your species and get access to technology that would make you the most powerful beings in the galaxy?" Harvester Prime paused. "Explain." Sarah took a deep breath. This was her only chance. Human DNA doesn't just adapt. It can create new forms of life, stronger forms. We can show you how to upgrade your own species beyond anything you've ever imagined. "Lies," Harvester Prime said. "Your species is primitive." "Then explain this," Sarah said, uploading data to the harvester ship. The information showed how human DNA had evolved over millions of years, constantly improving itself. Harvester Prime studied the data for several tense moments. "Interesting, but irrelevant. We require immediate results." "I can give you immediate results," Sarah said boldly. "Give me one volunteer from your species and one from Zara's people. I'll show you the process right now." Zara looked at Sarah in shock. "Sarah, that's incredibly dangerous. We don't know if it will work." "It has to work," Sarah whispered back. "It's our only chance." Harvester Prime's red eyes glowed brighter. "You would risk your life to prove this theory?" "Yes," Sarah said without hesitation. Because that's what humans do. We take risks to save others. For a long moment everything was silent. Then Harvester Prime spoke again. Very well, you have 1 hour to demonstrate your process. If you fail, Earth will be harvested immediately. The communication ended. Zara'th stared at Sarah in amazement. You just bought us time. But Sarah, what you're proposing, it's never been tried before. Then it's time to try, Sarah said. Will you help me? Zara'th nodded. My daughter's life depends on this. Of course I'll help. Within minutes, 2 beings materialized on the space station. One was a sick alien from Zara'th's species, his crystal skin cracked and fading. The other was a damaged harvester robot, sparks flying from its broken systems. These volunteers are both dying, Zara'th explained. If your process works, it could save them. Sarah set up her equipment with shaking hands. She had never attempted anything this complex before. She took samples of human DNA from her own blood and began the delicate process of genetic integration. The key is not to replace their DNA, Sarah explained as she worked. We teach their DNA how to repair itself using human techniques. Hours passed. Sarah worked with incredible focus, combining human DNA markers with alien genetic codes. Zara'th helped by using her advanced technology to monitor the process. It's working, Zara'th whispered in amazement. The alien's DNA is actually repairing itself. The sick alien's crystal skin began to glow with health again. The broken harvester robot system started functioning perfectly. But just as they thought they had succeeded, alarms began blaring again. Through the window, they saw something that made their blood run cold. A massive fleet of ships was approaching from deep space. These weren't harvester ships or Zara'th's people. These were something else entirely, something darker and more dangerous. Who are they? Sarah asked. Zara'th's face went white with terror. The Void Seekers, she whispered. They're a species that destroys entire galaxies for fun. They must have detected our experiment. The lead ship was the size of a moon, covered in weapons that could destroy planets. A terrifying voice echoed through space, reaching every ship in the area. We are the Void Seekers. We have come to claim the power of the morphing serpent. All who resist will be erased from existence. Sarah realized that by solving one problem, they had created an even bigger one. Now it wasn't just about saving 2 species. The most dangerous beings in the universe wanted human DNA, and they would destroy everything to get it. Sarah, Zara'th said urgently, your solution worked, but now we face something far worse than the harvesters. Sarah looked at her successful experiment, then at the approaching doomsday fleet. Then we better hope humans really are as special as you think we are. The final battle for the galaxy was about to begin. The final victory, the Void Seeker fleet, filled the entire sky. Their massive ships blocked out the stars like a black storm of death. The lead ship was so huge that Earth looked like a small blue marble next to it. Sarah stared at her instruments in horror. Their weapons are charging up. Each blast could destroy an entire continent. Zara'th was communicating frantically with both the Harvester fleet and her own people. This is impossible, she said. The Void Seekers have never been defeated. They've destroyed entire galactic civilizations. Why do they want human DNA? Sarah asked, her mind racing for solutions. Because they consume the power of unique species, Zara'th explained. They don't just kill. They steal the special abilities of every race they destroy. If they get human adaptive DNA, they'll become unstoppable. Suddenly, Sarah's successful experiment began glowing brighter. The healed alien and the repaired harvester robot were changing even more. Their bodies were becoming stronger and more advanced than before. Wait, Sarah said, watching the transformation. Look at what's happening to them. The alien's crystal skin was now harder than diamond but flexible like human muscle. The harvester robot's systems were self-repairing and evolving in real time. They're not just healed, Zara'th gasped. They're becoming something entirely new. Sarah's eyes lit up with sudden understanding. That's it. That's how we win. What do you mean? Zara asked. Human DNA doesn't just adapt and teach, Sarah said excitedly. It creates unity. It makes different species work together as one. Sarah opened communications to every ship in the area, harvesters, Zara's people, and even Earth's defense forces. Attention all fleets, Sarah announced. I know how to defeat the Void Seekers, but we need to work together. Harvester Prime's mechanical voice crackled through the speakers. Impossible. The Void Seekers cannot be defeated. They can be, Sarah said confidently, but only if we become something they've never faced before. The Void Seeker's terrible voice boomed across space. Surrender now, and your deaths will be swift. Resist, and we will make your suffering last for eons. Sarah ignored the threat. Zara, can your technology link all our ships together? Yes, but why? Because I'm going to share human DNA with every ship, every being, every AI in this entire fleet, Sarah said. We're going to become the first truly united galactic force in history. Zara stared at her in amazement. Sarah, that's incredible. But the process could kill you, sharing DNA with so many beings at once. Then help me survive it, Sarah said. That's what partnerships are for. Within minutes, Zara had created a massive network connecting thousands of ships. Sarah placed her hand on the genetic transmitter, knowing this could be the last thing she ever did. Beginning transmission now, Sarah announced. Energy poured out of Sarah's body like lightning. Her DNA codes traveled through space, reaching every ship in the Allied fleet. Humans, aliens, and robots all began to change. Earth's defense ships suddenly became faster and stronger. The harvester vessels gained human creativity and emotion. Zara's people developed incredible new abilities. All their technologies began working together perfectly. But Sarah was growing weaker. The process was draining her life force. Sarah, Zara caught her as she collapsed. You're dying. No, Sarah whispered. I'm evolving. We all are. Something amazing happened. Instead of just taking Sarah's DNA, every being in the fleet began sharing their own unique abilities back to her. Sarah felt herself becoming stronger, smarter, more powerful than any human had ever been. Impossible, Harvester Prime said, but now its voice had warmth and wonder. I am experiencing emotions. I care about the survival of others. The alien volunteers were now glowing with combined human-alien power. Earth's ships were using technology they had never dreamed of. The Void Seekers launched their attack. Planet-killing beams shot toward Earth. But the United Fleet was ready. Working as one mind with thousands of bodies, they created a defensive shield unlike anything ever seen. Human adaptability, alien technology, and artificial intelligence combined into perfect harmony. The Void Seeker beams bounced harmlessly off the shield. What is this? The Void Seeker leader roared in fury. How are you blocking our ultimate weapons? Sarah, now standing with power flowing through her, opened communications to the Void Seekers. We're something you've never encountered before, she said. We're unity. We're cooperation. We're the power of different beings choosing to work together instead of destroying each other. The Void Seekers attacked again and again. But every time the United Fleet adapted and grew stronger. Human DNA was teaching every species how to evolve together in real time. Then something unexpected happened. Some of the Void Seeker ships stopped attacking. Commander, one of them transmitted, the human's genetic signal is affecting us too. I'm beginning to feel empathy. Impossible, the Void Seeker leader screamed. We are destroyers. We cannot feel. But it was too late. Human DNA was spreading even to their enemies, showing them what it meant to care about others instead of destroying them. One by one, Void Seeker ships broke away from their fleet and joined the Alliance. Their crews were experiencing emotions for the first time in millions of years. The Void Seeker leader, now alone with only a few loyal ships, made one final desperate attack. His moon-sized vessel charged straight toward Earth. If I cannot have the morphing serpent, then no one will, he roared. But Sarah and the United Fleet were ready. Combining the power of every species, they created something that had never existed before, a living weapon made of pure cooperation and hope. The weapon didn't destroy the Void Seeker leader's ship. Instead, it transformed it. The dark vessel became bright and beautiful. The leader himself began to change, experiencing love and compassion for the first time. What have you done to me?" he asked, his voice now soft and confused. "We've shown you what you've been missing," Sarah said gently, "the power to create instead of destroy." The former Void Seeker leader looked at his hands, then at the beautiful ships around him. I remember now. Before the darkness, we were once builders, not destroyers." Across the galaxy, other Void Seeker fleets stopped their attacks as the genetic signal reached them. Entire civilizations that had been under threat were suddenly safe. Months later, Sarah stood on Earth looking up at the stars. But now she wasn't alone. Zara was beside her, along with representatives from hundreds of species. "The Galactic Unity Council is working perfectly," Zara reported. "Every species is sharing their knowledge and abilities. We're solving problems that have existed for millions of years." "And your daughter?" Sarah asked. Zara smiled. Sarah looked up at the stars, where human-designed ships were traveling alongside alien vessels, all working together to explore and protect the galaxy. "You know what the best part is?" Sarah said. "What?" "We didn't save the galaxy by fighting. We saved it by proving that working together makes everyone stronger." Above them, the stars seemed to shine brighter, as if the universe itself was celebrating the birth of true galactic unity. The morphing serpent, human DNA, had indeed changed everything, not through conquest or control, but through the most powerful force in existence, the choice to care for others. And in the depths of space, former enemies worked side by side, building a future that no single species could have imagined alone. Humanity had given the galaxy its greatest gift, the knowledge that diversity and cooperation were the keys to unlimited potential. The universe would never be the same.